There's a protocol used by hostage negotiators before entering a crisis situation. It takes 90 seconds. No meditation apps. No breathing exercises you learned in yoga class. Just a surgical physiological intervention that flips your nervous system from panic mode to tactical mode. And the reason you've never heard about it is simple. Emotionally unstable people are easier to control, manipulate, and exploit. But here's what nobody tells you. Your body already knows how to do this. You've just never been taught to access it. Watch until the end. You will be surprised. Why your emotions are sabotaging you right now. The first time I came across this technique, it was buried in a declassified CIA manual on stress inoculation for field operatives. Not mindfulness, not relaxation. This was weaponized emotional control. The premise was brutal. If you can't regulate your internal state under pressure, you're a liability. And liabilities don't survive. Think about it. How many opportunities have you lost because anxiety paralyzed you at the critical moment? How many arguments have you lost because anger hijacked your reasoning? How many terrible decisions have you made because panic took the wheel? Uncontrolled emotions are like having a spy inside your own head, leaking your weaknesses, broadcasting your vulnerabilities, painting a target on your back. But there's a biological explanation. Your amygdala, the primitive fear center of your brain, can't tell the difference between actual danger and perceived threat. A confrontation with your boss triggers the same biochemical avalanche as facing a predator. Adrenaline floods your system. Your heart rate spikes. Your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for rational thought, goes offline. You become pure instinct. And instinct without strategy is chaos. But here's the detail. Almost no one ever notices. This response isn't hardwired. It's hackable, not suppressible. Hackable. And the key is already built into your physiology. Imagine you're about to walk into a high-stakes negotiation, or confront someone who disrespected you publicly, or make a decision that could either destroy or save your career. In that moment, your body is working against you. But if you know how to manipulate a single physiological lever, you gain total control. Think like an NSIS investigator analyzing a crime scene. They don't panic. They follow the evidence. Here, the evidence is physiological. Your breathing pattern, your heart rate, the tension in your jaw. These are the indicators. And when you learn to read them and adjust them, you become the master of your own nervous system. Here's something most people never grasp. When you control your emotions, you control how others perceive you. And perception is power. If someone detects nervousness, instability, or reactivity in you, they've already won half the battle. They know exactly where to apply pressure. But if you remain cold while chaos erupts around you, you become an incomprehensible force. And the incomprehensible always dominates the predictable. If you could deactivate fear like switching off a light, how many doors in your life would instantly open? But I still haven't told you what the exact mechanism is. And when you discover it, you'll realize you've been using it wrong your entire life. How ancient warriors hacked their nervous systems. I'm going to tell you something that military neuroscientists discovered studying fighter pilots under G-force stress. Your conscious mind is too slow to save you. By the time panic registers in your awareness, you've already lost. But your body has a secret bypass that completely circumvents your prefrontal cortex, the thinking part of your brain. It's an ancient shortcut. Feudal warriors knew it. Black ops operators know it. And you're about to know it too. Think about Genghis Khan's psychological warfare tactics. He didn't just conquer with swords. He conquered with presence. His enemies would surrender before battles even began because he had mastered something profound. Emotional contagion. If you radiate fear, people smell it. If you radiate unstoppable calm, people instinctively submit. Now translate that to today. You're in a boardroom. Someone verbally attacks you. Everyone's watching. In that moment, your emotional response determines whether you emerge as the alpha or the victim. And here's the problem. You have maybe 3 seconds to respond. Your conscious mind can't process that fast, but your body can. The trick? There's a nerve in your body called the vagus nerve. It connects your brain to your heart, lungs, and gut, and it functions like a biological remote control. When you activate this nerve strategically, you manually shut down panic mode. It's like hitting Ctrl plus Alt plus Del on your nervous system, yet there's a critical detail most people ignore. This nerve responds to specific physical commands, not visualization, not positive affirmations, pure mechanics. And if you do it wrong, you actually amplify the stress response. Ever notice how truly powerful people breathe differently? It's not coincidence. They know something. When you control your breath in a specific pattern, you send a direct signal to your brain. No threat detected. We're safe. And your body complies. Picture being in a verbal conflict. The other person is shouting. Everyone's staring. You feel the adrenaline surge. But instead of reacting or freezing, you pause for 2 seconds. You breathe a specific way. And when you re-engage, your voice is steady. Your gaze is calm. And the person across from you instantly realizes they lost control. You didn't. Here's the brutal truth. Whoever loses composure loses the game. Always. Because uncontrolled emotion is predictable, and predictability is vulnerability. But if you can maintain the appearance of absolute control, even when you're being tested, you project an aura of silent danger. And that, my friend, is intimidation. Without uttering a single word. How many times have you lost power simply because your breathing gave you away? Now comes the part that actually changes everything. Because there's an exact sequence, and when you execute it in the right order, the effect is almost instant. What if you could rewire fear like code? Imagine you're in a dark room. You hear a sound. Your body triggers every alarm. Now imagine you have a mental switch that cancels that in 3 seconds. Sounds like science fiction, right? Wrong. It's applied neuroscience. And special forces operators do this before every mission. Because if you enter combat already stressed, you're already dead. I'll tell you a secret I learned studying psychological interrogation tactics. The human mind cannot sustain extreme emotions for longer than 90 seconds. It's a physiological fact. After that, if you don't reinforce the trigger, the emotion begins to fade. The problem? Most people keep feeding the fear with thoughts. They create mental loops, and those loops become addictive. But here's the warrior's move. They don't fight fear. They observe it. Like watching a storm pass through. And while observing, they control a single variable, breath. Not any breath. A specific technique that forces the nervous system to recalibrate. Think like an NSIS agent examining evidence. Fear leaves traces. Tense muscles, clenched jaw, shallow chest, breathing. Each of these signals feeds back into the panic. It's a cycle. But if you break one single link in that chain specifically, the breathing pattern, the entire cycle collapses. And this is where everything shifts. Your body can't distinguish between real danger and imagined danger. But it also can't distinguish between real calm and simulated calm. If you simulate the physiological signals of calm, your brain believes it and starts shutting down the alarms. It's a hack, and it works. When you master this, you don't just control your emotions. You control how you decide. How many bad decisions have you made under pressure? How many relationships have you destroyed because you reacted impulsively? How many opportunities have you lost because fear paralyzed you? Now imagine the opposite. You're in a crisis. Everyone around you is panicking, but you're seeing everything in slow motion. You're not suppressing emotions. You've neutralized them. And that gives you something rare, mental clarity in the middle of chaos. Here's something historical leaders understood. Whoever controls the tempo controls the outcome. If you react at the other person's speed, you're playing their game. But if you create your own tempo, slow breathe, measured speech, deliberate movements, you force the environment to adjust to you. And that instantly inverts the power dynamic. If you could create a time bubble around yourself, where everything slows down while you maintain total clarity, what would change? If this resonates, if you feel like you're discovering something that's always been hidden, drop that like, subscribe to the channel, because what comes next goes even deeper. But I still haven't shown you the exact sequence. And when you see it, you'll realize you've already done parts of it without knowing. You just never knew how to put it all together. How elite units transform panic into presence in under 3 minutes. I'm going to tell you something that shouldn't be in the public domain. During Operation Desert Storm, Tier 1 units used a breathing technique derived from classified Soviet neuroscience research combined with ancient Tibetan practices. This wasn't meditation. This was physiological weaponization. The goal? Zero cortisol, maximum mental clarity, and instant flow state activation before high-risk operations. And the complete protocol takes less than 3 minutes. Think about everything we've discussed. The vagus nerve, breath control, breaking the panic cycle. Now I'm going to show you how it all connects into a single protocol. Here's the sequence. First step, exhale completely, all the air, until you feel empty. This seems counterintuitive, but it's critical. You're resetting the system. Second step, inhale slowly through your nose for a count of 4. Don't force it. Let the air enter like water filling a glass. Third step, hold for 7 seconds. Yes, 7. This activates the vagus nerve and signals to your brain that there's no emergency. Nobody holds their breath during an attack, so your body interprets this as safety. Fourth step, exhale through your mouth for a count of 8. Slow, controlled, like you're blowing out a candle without making it flicker. Repeat this 3 times. By the end, your nervous system will be completely recalibrated. You won't feel different immediately, but your heart rate will have dropped, your cortisol will have plummeted, and your mind will be clear. This isn't just for extreme situations. Use it before negotiations. Use it before confrontations. Use it when you feel like you're losing control. Because here's the final truth. Power isn't about dominating others. It's about dominating yourself. When you can walk into any environment and remain ice cold while everyone around you is burning, you become the most dangerous force in the room. Not because you're aggressive, but because you're unpredictable. And unpredictability is the ultimate weapon. But there's something even deeper here. People who master emotional control project a presence. It's invisible, but everyone feels it. It's like a magnetic field, and when you have it, you don't need to prove anything. Your mere existence already communicates. I know something you don't. Here's the final lesson. True power is never demonstrated. It's felt. When you master your emotions, you don't need to shout, threaten, or justify yourself. You simply observe. And while you observe, you control. Because whoever stays calm in chaos is actually in command. If you could enter any situation with the certainty that your emotions would never betray you again, how would you live differently? If you understood what you just discovered, I want to know, where will you apply this first? Write it in the comments. Drop that like if this changed something in you. Subscribe to the channel because there's much more coming. And share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because power knowledge is useless if it stays locked away. But there's an even darker layer to all of this. One that involves how dictators, CEOs, and manipulation masters use this not to control themselves, but to control others. And that might be the next conversation.